Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rod Guthrie, and I'm the director of the Anatomical Gift Program here at Wright State University. I want to thank you all for attending today's memorial program. Since being established in 1975, there have been over 22,000 people that have registered to donate their remains to the Anatomical Gift Program here at Wright State. Today, we honor and remember your loved ones that have unselfishly given of themselves. Due to their generosity, medical students, nursing students, physicians, medical researchers, and many others have had the opportunity to learn about the structure and function of the human body. I understand that for some of you, it may have been very difficult to accept or understand why your loved one wanted to donate their remains, but it is my hope that after today, you will see how their gift, or your loved one's gift, has positively impacted the lives of so many people. Anatomy is the study of structure in the human body, which is the foundation of medicine. Hundreds of students have studied anatomy, and someday they will use this knowledge to take care of thousands of patients. Please know this would not be possible without your loved ones. Your loved ones have taught these students way more than any textbook, plastic mold, or computer program ever could. Today we have 4 of these former or current students will now share how their donors of the Anatomical Gift Program have impacted their lives. Our first speaker is Elizabeth Graber. Elizabeth is currently a senior, and she is completing a post-baccalaureate certificate and is also pre-physical therapy program. Elizabeth?
Good afternoon. Neil deGrasse Tyson once said, "For me, I am driven by 2 main philosophies: know more today about the world than I knew yesterday, and lessen the suffering of others." With the help of your loved ones, I am living by those 2 philosophies. As Rod said, I'm a senior here at Wright State University, completing a post-baccalaureate certificate and pre-physical therapy program. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration with specializations in human resources and operations management. Now you may be asking yourself, how did you go from business to physical therapy? I get that question a lot. After working for 7 years in human resources, I realized I wasn't on the best path for me, the path where I would be happiest and feel like I am making a difference. It kind of felt like when you search for directions on your phone and it gives you 3 options, and you choose option 2 instead of option 1 for whatever reason. Business was like option 2 for me. It was going to get me to where I wanted to be eventually, but it wasn't as great of a choice as option 1. Once I realized this, I thought about what made me happiest in life, what I was passionate about, and how I could best help others. After reflecting on my life, healthcare stood out to me, and this Anatomical Gift Program was the reason why. In high school, I had the opportunity to come to Wright State with my anatomy class and my AP biology class the following year. I always loved anatomy and physiology, but it was seeing what we were learning in books come to life that made them truly fascinating to me. It is because of these visits to Wright State that my love of anatomy and physiology have stayed with me all these years. It is because of what this program gave me that I decided to return to school and follow a new path. In my classes here at Wright State, I strive to learn something new every day so I can excel in my field, not because I want to be the best or need to be the best, but because my patients deserve my best. They deserve the comfort and peace of mind in knowing that I am knowledgeable, have the necessary skills and abilities, and most importantly, can help them. I strive to learn something new every day, not just for myself, but so I can help others in their time of need. Your loved ones have been my teachers. They have taught me something every day. Sometimes it's anatomy, and sometimes it's just about life. They have helped me to learn more about the beauty, the intricacies, and the capabilities of the human body, which will help me to develop into a knowledgeable physical therapist. I've learned about muscles, the nerves, the heart, and many other physical structures that are hard to fully comprehend from a book and pictures. This knowledge will be the foundation on which I will continue to build my education and career. The tools I have gained because of them will aid me in helping thousands of other people in the span of my career. This is more of what comes to mind when you think about an anatomical gift program. These are the types of facts you have probably seen, or the facts your loved ones share with you when they told you about their decision to donate their bodies. While I see these being important, it is what your loved ones have taught me about life that I see as the true gift, and that gift is immeasurable. I have learned a lot about myself, the type of person I want to be, and the impact I want to make on the world. You may wonder how I learned all of that without a word being spoken, so let me take a minute to explain. Your loved ones made a decision to give of themselves to better the education experiences of those seeking to learn. It is that decision that has helped shape my education and my life. Every day I went to lab or studied for A&P, I was reminded of the selfless decision they made to give back to others. And every day I recommitted myself to paying it forward out of appreciation for what they have done for me and countless others. Their act of selflessness has the potential to touch the lives directly and indirectly of so many more people in the world if each person pays it forward. It is acts like these that truly better the world in which we live. I want to be the type of person who betters the world through small acts of kindness and selflessness. I want to be the type of person who can give of themselves for others like your loved ones have so graciously done. So as I said earlier, your loved ones have been my teachers, and they have taught me something every day. Sometimes about anatomy, and sometimes just about life. Margaret Fuller said, "If you have knowledge, let others light their candles in it." Your loved ones have let me light my candle, and I will be forever grateful for the gift that they have given me. Thank you. It's been an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Maria Balch is our next speaker, and she has completed a Master's of Anatomy program this summer and is representing our graduate students. She will also begin a PhD program in anatomy at The Ohio State University next year. Maria?
Good afternoon. Before I begin, I must thank you all for the opportunity to be here to speak with you today. It's truly an honor to do so. As mentioned, my name is Maria Balch, and I'm here to talk about the impact of the Anatomical Gift Program on the Wright State University anatomy graduate students. The master's degree in anatomy provides a way for aspiring scientists, healthcare providers, and teachers to pursue their desired career paths. Some students graduate and begin teaching immediately. Many will enter medical school. Some will attend school to become a physician assistant or a dentist or a physical therapist. Others will go on to earn a PhD and teach at a university or conduct research. But no matter the career path, we have all gained so much through our education here because of the Anatomical Gift Program. And that knowledge that we have gained because of the selfless donations of your loved ones will go on to be shared and applied to thousands of patients and students in the future. Personally, the impact of this program and your loved ones encompasses much more than just my graduate education. I'd like to share with you a little about my history and how the program has influenced me. To begin, I must rewind the clock back to my undergraduate years. I attended Cedarville University, and a growing curiosity about the human body and medicine settled it. I would study biology. I loved studying biology. I loved learning about life, and I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could. I took one of my very favorite classes my junior year. It was called Human Structure and Function, and that was our anatomy and physiology course. It was 2 semesters long, and that first semester focused on skeletal and muscular anatomy, teaching us how the bones and muscles work together. I had not one, but 2 teachers that first semester. The first was our professor, and as it turned out, her educational background included a master's degree from Wright State University in anatomy. The second teacher in this course was not a professor or a physician, but a donor. This was my first introduction to an anatomical donor, and it was incredible to study the lecture notes and the pictures and the textbooks and then go to lab and put it all together. To see the structures right before my eyes, to understand the relationship between muscles and bones, this was a very necessary component of my education. I later learned that the anatomical donor used in our lab was provided by Wright State's Anatomical Gift Program. Little did I know how this program would impact my education long before I would choose to attend Wright State for graduate school. While the first semester of Human Structure and Function at Cedarville taught me so much in a very tangible way, the second semester of that course provided an experience to know what it's like not to have the incredible learning benefit of anatomical donors. That second semester did not have a lab component. So as we learned about the organ systems of the body, like the digestive system and the cardiovascular system, we had only lecture notes and textbooks to guide us. I was faced again with the same difficulty a few years later, only this time it was not from the perspective of a student, but from the perspective of an instructor. I graduated from Cedarville in 2008, and I obtained a position teaching anatomy and physiology at a small career college. But the college did not have anatomy labs, nor did it have the resources to accommodate that type of learning. So I used pictures and diagrams and three-dimensional models with plastic models and clay, and I tried to teach my students that way, but it wasn't the same. After 1 year of teaching, I sought full-time work and landed a job as an editor for a government contractor. I used and developed new skills, but I longed to return to the sciences. A medical mission trip to the Amazon only enhanced my hope for a career shift, and that was when I made the decision to further my education and join the anatomy program here at Wright State. Upon entering the program, I was encountered again with the opportunity to see the amazing gift of anatomical donors. In our anatomy lab, 7 donors explained and demonstrated and clarified all of the material we were learning without ever saying a word. It was truly a powerful way to learn, and I have the utmost respect and gratitude for your loved ones and the generous contributions that they have made. Another way in which the Anatomical Gift Program has impacted me has nothing to do with my education. Years ago, my husband's grandfather was diagnosed with a very rare neurodegenerative disease called progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP. My husband and I lived with his grandparents for a time to help care for him, and because of what little is known about this disease, they had decided that when the time came, they would donate his brain to medical research on PSP. Last June, he passed away very unexpectedly, and because of the sudden nature of his passing, the necessary paperwork for his donation had not yet been submitted. But that's where the Anatomical Gift Program here at Wright State came into play. I was able to contact the program, and they immediately assisted us and the brain bank at the Mayo Clinic in Florida so that my husband's grandfather could contribute to medical research on PSP after all. The Anatomical Gift Program provides an avenue for noble people to serve others even after they're gone through medical education and research, and I'm thankful that programs like this exist. The impact of donors and these programs will undoubtedly continue to shape my career in the years to come. As Rod said, I finished my anatomy master's degree program this summer, and my husband and I are blessed to expect our first child this fall. In May, I will begin a PhD program in anatomy at The Ohio State University, so I may pursue a career teaching. I would like to teach anatomy at a university or a medical school, and as I move forward in my career, I will continue to encounter the amazing gift of anatomical donors. I look forward to sharing this gift with my future students. In closing, I hope you have seen how my entire educational background, as well as my family personally, have been greatly shaped by the Anatomical Gift Program. Anatomical donations provide an irreplaceable learning tool. My most influential teacher lay quietly, teaching without words, much, much more than I ever imagined I could have learned. I do not have words to express the benefit and impact that your loved ones have had on my classmates and myself. They provided a form of learning that cannot be duplicated with plastic models or three-dimensional computer simulations. The education I received here would not have been possible without the contributions of your loved ones. I cannot thank them enough for their generosity. It truly is a gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Our third speaker today is Bonnie Chow, and she's a second-year med student here at Boonshoft School of Medicine here at Wright State University. Her class participated in the anatomy labs last fall and was also one of the student volunteers here at last year's memorial. Bonnie?
Hi. Thank you so much for attending this service today. I am honored to represent the 104 second-year medical students who have directly benefited from your loved one's donation. With what seemed like a multitude of paperwork and signatures, your loved ones have contributed to the educational process of so many students. When I volunteered at this event last year, I found myself at a loss for words when attempting to express my gratitude towards the guest. I finally came to the conclusion that there is no way for us to quantify our thanks to you and your loved ones. You see, this creates quite a dilemma for me, as I was brought up in the Asian culture where there was a custom that was to be strictly obeyed. When you receive a gift, whether from a family member, friend, or mere acquaintance, you are expected to give something in return. Some may call this the tit-for-tat principle, but I refer to it as the reason why I never attended any birthday parties when I was younger. This notion of giving back to the generous person is a great idea in theory, but circumstances have been created where this repayment cannot happen. Unfortunately, this is one such situation. I cannot apologize enough for your losses, and as we learned in one of our classes, sometimes apologies makes things worse. There isn't a way for me to bring back your loved ones, and there's no way that I can physically give them something in return for what they have given me. One of the few things that I can assure you of is that their generous gift will not be forgotten. Your loved ones may be gone, but they will never be forgotten by you or by the many medical students who have learned so much from them. My donor, Ron, as we affectionately called him, was a man of integrity, strength, and compassion. Every day, we were reminded of the many lessons he has taught us. His strength and compassion were thoroughly illustrated with his strong muscles and dexterous hands, and his large heart taught us how to care for not only ourselves and our future patients, but for every single person we encounter. Simple acts of kindness go a really long way in any relationship, no matter how fleeting the moment is. A simple smile, offering a cup of water, or merely letting someone go first at a stop sign. They're all small gestures that can leave a lasting impression with any stranger. Without these acts of kindness, our world would not be the same, and this program would not have any basis for student education. Your loved ones have quite literally become the best teachers I have ever had, and I will be forever grateful for their gift. At the beginning of my first year at medical school, I had the unfortunate accident of injuring my thumb while playing a game of catch. That made many chores and daily activities extremely complicated. Although I managed to do the dishes and found a new way to hold a pencil, I was at a severe disadvantage during anatomy lab. Thankfully, my lab partners were willing to help and cover my share, and at one point, I found myself holding my donor's hand for 2 hours. That was also when I realized how many lives that single hand has touched in his lifetime. I picture my donor as a pure gentleman, holding doors open for everyone and giving a firm handshake to greet any stranger. He probably has touched hundreds, if not thousands of lives before his donation. But because of his selfless gift, we can now add 104 more names to that list of lives he had an impact on. And because I cannot return this invaluable act of kindness to your loved ones, I am instead going to pay it forward. It seems like such a cliche statement right now, but I can truly say that the things I learned from your loved ones are the basis for the rest of my life and career in medicine. Because of your loved ones, I will not attempt to listen to a patient's heart on the right side of their chest or attempt to find the appendix on the upper left side of their abdomen. These seemingly simple yet very complicated lessons will go an extremely long way, and your loved ones are the reason for this adeptness. In addition to the many hugs and handshakes today, my fellow classmates and I will utilize the knowledge that is based in our encounters with your loved ones to practice medicine to the best of our abilities. And I personally hope to someday reach the same level of integrity, strength, and compassion that my donor set such a wonderful example of. Losing a loved one is never easy, but please know that your father, mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, and close friend will never be forgotten. They have done the most selfless and kindest thing, and please know how sincerely grateful we are for their gift. I will spend the rest of my life attempting to repay them for their gift by becoming the best doctor I can be and helping as many patients as possible. Thank you again for coming today, and I would like to end with an old Chinese proverb. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Our fourth speaker today is a former graduate of Wright State University and has recently returned as an instructor for the Department of Anatomy. She has been working with our donors for over 6 years. Bridget Seaver.
Thank you, Rod. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today. I am truly grateful to be here. I was so excited when I was asked to speak at this service. It wasn't until I had to sit down and write a speech. All I could think was, what could I possibly say to let these families and friends of our donors know exactly how much the gift of their loved one meant to us? I decided to just tell you how Wright State, my teachers, and most importantly, the donors of the Anatomical gift program helped me reach my goals. I was first introduced to anatomy in high school. Anatomy and physiology was my favorite class. I looked forward to it each day, and I loved going. I even remember sitting in the guidance counselor's office asking to retake this class instead of taking chemistry. It was a very important class to me. I loved learning the class, loved the anatomy, but the most difficult part was using a cat as our tool to learn the anatomy and try to relate it to a human. After high school graduation, I came to Wright State as a pre-med student. I loved science, I wanted to continue learning science, and I wanted to use it to help others. So I thought for sure I should be a doctor. That was until my first anatomy and physiology class in college. The course was taught by two fun and outgoing instructors. Names are Dan Miska and Nick Ratucci. And they made the class feel important. They made what I was learning seem like it was important to the big picture of everything. I always wanted to go home and study and tell everyone of my family what I learned that day and how exciting it was. I didn't feel this way when I walked out of other courses. Felt like I just wanted to do enough to get the good grade and move on. But that wasn't the same in anatomy. I wanted to continue learning constantly. At this point, I was no longer a pre-med student. I knew I wanted to teach anatomy and share my passion with others. Without the gift of your loved ones, I'm not sure this class would have had the same meaning. And I know I wouldn't have had the same comprehensive knowledge that I do now. During this class, I contacted the anatomy instructor, Dan Miska, and I asked him how he became a teacher. He called me in for a meeting, and we have a little different memory of how this meeting went. He tells everyone to this day that I came in and told him, "Just want to let you know, I'm going to take your job one day." I wouldn't say that, but I didn't want to take his job. What I wanted was to work with him, continue learning from him, and get to work with the donors longer. Even though he thought I wanted to take his job, he helped me anyways. He let me work in his labs and help as a teaching assistant, so I was able to help and share my knowledge with other students and sort of get my feet wet and make sure teaching was what I wanted to do. He helped me pick the right classes, and he helped me get into graduate school at Wright State to study anatomy. After graduation, Dan Miska and Nick Ratucci recommended me and helped me land my first teaching job. I taught at a small community college. It was in Lima, Ohio, and it was a great experience. I loved what I was teaching. I loved everybody I worked with. But the use of donors was minimal. We mostly used pictures and plastic models and worksheets in the textbook. I realized then how rich my undergraduate and graduate experience was with the donors. Pictures and plastic models can confuse and complicate the material. The size is distorted, and it's hard to see exactly how structures relate to each other. And with the plastic, you can't move things around. You can't feel what is underneath or see the deeper structures. So that's why I think using donors is so important. Plastic models are color-coded. It's easy to tell an artery from a vein or nerve. But in us, it's so different. You don't see that. So you have to actually know what it looks like. Okay, so at that point, I really realized how important the use of donors was and wanted to work somewhere that we use donors in our labs. Nick and Dan didn't stop there helping me. This summer, Dan was offered a teaching job elsewhere and left Wright State. Excuse me. He called me up and he told me, it's like, "Hey, remember how you were gonna take my job one day?" I didn't say that. He said, "Well, here's your chance. I've been offered a position elsewhere, and I would like to recommend you to be the anatomy instructor here at Wright State." So I'm now the anatomy instructor here. I teach nursing, pre-med, biomedical engineering students, and also our med students. And I absolutely love it. I get to share my knowledge and passion for anatomy at my alma mater, and I get to work with the donors every day. Without a doubt, I would not have the same appreciation and passion for anatomy without the gracious gift from you and your loved ones. I believe these donations mean so much and are so important that I plan on paying it forward. When I go, I plan on also donating my body to Wright State's Anatomical gift program. I think it is so important that I give back what I have learned so much from. Thank you for supporting your loved ones in their decision, as my family has supported me. And thank you for your time today. I am truly blessed to be here and have had the chance to work with your loved ones. Thank you.
At the conclusion of today's programs, all the guests are invited to attend a reception in the Endeavor Room through the doors off to the side of this room. Guests are also encouraged to visit the Rockfield Cemetery. At the cemetery, you will have the opportunity to view the final resting place of many of the donors to the Anatomical gift program. And if you do wish to visit the cemetery, you may proceed out to the front of the Student Union where you came in today. We have buses that will transport you to the cemetery. And you can do that either before or after you attend the reception. Medical students will be here to escort anyone who may need help or assistance on the buses. If you do not wish to go to the cemetery, you may go directly to the reception. At the reception, Wright State University students will be available to share their experiences as well as answer any questions you may have. So today we have shared how your loved ones have impacted our knowledge of structure and function of the human body, our current and future careers, and our lives. Your loved ones' donations have made and will continue to make a positive impact on thousands and thousands of lives. So once again, I'd like to thank you for attending today's memorial program. At this time, we'll conclude the program with a moment of silence to honor your loved ones. Thank you.